All right, so I've been doing a one-arm pull-up progression that I'm gonna build into over the next several months, and it's the first cycle, and this is the 6th week of it. So we're gonna wrap up with a heavy pulling day with some heavy weighted pull-ups, some archer pull-ups, but we're gonna start with some warm-up for the upper back and the rear delts. Let's get right to it. All right, so I'm gonna take these small dumbbells. I'm gonna go chest support. I'm gonna raise up and squeeze. Come back down with control. Squeeze. And we're going all the way to 10 reps. All right, we'll take a short rest. We'll do 3 sets of that guy, and then we're gonna move to a different exercise. So we'll cut away now, get a little rest, and when we come back, I'll show you what I'm doing next. All right, so this next one is a high elbow row. It's gonna be for the upper back and the rear delt, and this is gonna keep your shoulders healthy when you're doing high training volume, whether it's high pulling, high pushing, whatever. Strengthening the back of the shoulders and the posture is gonna keep you strong so that you can finish your training cycle and repeat training cycle after training cycle and keep moving without getting hurt. Same system we set up with good posture, and then we're gonna pull the elbows high and outside, squeeze, and then lower with control. 10 reps. So what does that exercise do? So this exercise specifically is gonna work out this muscle right here on the back of the shoulder. And so typically if we have desk posture, if we spend a lot of time on our phone, we're gonna end up in this position, which means these muscles in the front of the body are shortened. So we can stretch them all day, but because they're tight and they're used to contracting, they're always gonna go back until we build proper strength in the back of the shoulder, and then we're more balanced. It's just about staying balanced in the training. If you work one way, you need to work the other. So we're gonna do some heavy pulling today, so I like to warm up with some light weighted pull-ups. You got a bar behind you. Yeah, thanks so. Yeah, let's get this first set done. Oh God. You gonna do it yet? You gonna go yet? Cool. So super simple, we'll do 3 sets of 3 and then we'll move on to the next bit. Heads up. All right, last set. Here we go. All right, perfect. Short rest, then we'll move to the archers. It's gonna get a little harder here. All right, so now we're working archers, and the idea here is that I'm gonna use one arm as heavily as I can to pull up and lock off at the top. Other hand is gonna help, but as minimally as possible. And then on the way down, I'm gonna pause at about 90 degrees, hold for a few seconds, and then finish lowering down. Just 1 rep per side. I'm trying to stay away from elbow tendonitis, away from shoulder problems, and get through a few training cycles before I really start challenging the one arm strength. Let's go right arm first, and then we'll turn around and face the other way so we don't run into that on the way to the top. Sweet. Only 2 more sets of that today. All right, set number 2, left side first, alternating every set. Let's go. Stay hollow and pull. Lock. And control. Oh, okay. Other side now. Awesome, feels good. One more set. Last set. Let's go. It's crazy because 6 weeks ago, coming down, it would feel like my bicep was gonna snap. It would feel like the outside of my shoulder was gonna tear. Now I can use less assistance with my other hand and I don't get such an intense sensation. So 6 weeks, really happy with the progress. Haven't exactly planned the next training cycle out yet, but working exactly as planned so far. Other side, left hand. Wow. Now the fun part, heavy, weighted, underhand pull-up. So I'm tempted today, since we're filming and documenting this last workout, to go a little heavier than planned, but the plan is 6 sets, 1 rep with 50 kg. So we're gonna knock out that first set now, see how it feels. We didn't do any warm-up sets between the archer pull-up and these. So the idea is that whatever I can do for my weighted pull-up, I need to be able to do that without having to do extra warm-up sets, because otherwise it would be maybe a little bit too tough to recover from and be able to successfully knock out the second session later in the week. One rep, let's go. Oh, it's heavy, feels good. So we'll do 3 minutes rest, 3 minutes rest, and knock out each set. Set number 2. Rock and roll.
Why do you go out and hold it?
So once I'm able to do a 1-arm pull-up, I want to be able to really lock it off and be clean and strong at the top. So I'm trying to own that range of motion with all the pull-ups that I do. Sometimes the warm-up reps, like the lighter ones I did overhand, sometimes I'll do those just straight up and down just because I'm getting myself moving. But for these, I want to be strong at the endpoints and I want to condition my elbows to handle that really tight contraction at the top, because that top contraction point is where a lot of people end up causing the tendonitis that forces them to either stop the 1-arm pull-up journey or take extended breaks and makes it take way longer than it actually needs to. Number 3.
So is that a reason why you rest 3 minutes, not 5 minutes or 6 minutes?
Is that a science way?
Yeah, it's a science way. I haven't read the official studies to document it, but it's like a pretty well-known practice in strength training that if you rest between 3 and 5 minutes, you're gonna maximize the strength adaptations. If you rest less, you can grow stronger, but you're very likely gonna run into some muscle endurance or cardio type adaptations, which maybe if you're doing CrossFit, you want that. But if you're looking for pure strength, 3 to 5 minutes is what you want to get used to resting.
You do 3 set, right?
6.
Or 6?
6 set. Yeah. Because only 1 rep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're doing less reps, higher intensity, it can be good to do more sets. And if you're doing higher reps, maybe 3 sets of 10 reps would be a normal something for 10 reps. But if I only do 3 sets of 1, as a more trained athlete, that's probably not enough to provide the training response that I'm looking for. Set 4, right? Set 4. With the big rest, these should actually stay quite doable, but they do get a little harder. So we have to get mentally prepared each set to really apply a strong effort.
Will you go to failure when you hold it?
No, I just go to what feels good. And science has shown that grunting increases your strength by 10%. That's absolutely not true. I don't know if it helps, but if, at least for me, if I really put some intensity into it, I end up making some noise. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. High effort, you might grunt, you might hold your breath, you might do something that makes you look a little different than the rest of the people in the gym, but once you get used to training, you don't even think about it anymore. You do what you need to do to get your reps done and knock out each set for 5. The sick waddle to the bar with the heavy weights. Yeah, so you asked about it, the set before, if that's a max effort hold at the top. It's completely by feel. So for the program, I just write 1, 6 sets, 3 minutes rest, and kind of just go by feel. After training for years and years and years, like I know what the contraction feels like that makes you stronger. So I'm basically just like creating a contraction based on the understanding of like how it feels when you're exerting enough effort to make yourself more powerful. No scientific stuff around it, just purely a training skill that you get when you've been doing this shit for a long time.
Also, is there a reason why you're doing overdrip instead of this one?
Yeah. So underhand, I can pull more weight, and I want to lift the heaviest weight that I can safely for multiple sets for this workout. So it's really just about providing a high weight, a high intensity stimulus to my entire body. And that's the main goal there.
One feel the tendonitis.
Well, once you have tendonitis, it's a fucking pain in the ass.
You stop yourself but not getting it.
Yeah. So I've kind of alluded to wanting to avoid tendonitis because with one arm pull-up training or any kind of pull-up training, you'll often end up with kind of tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, maybe wrist problems, shoulder stuff, a whole host of issues, just because we're putting a lot of weight on these smaller joints and connective tissue. And so the best thing to do is to understand how strong you are and then start working stuff that does not make you so tired that you can't do your next workout. And then that way, over the course of a month or 6 weeks, you can increase your training volume. And so your training volume is what you can do without fucking yourself up, excuse my language, rather than the most you can do if you're trying to outdo your buddy one day at the gym. Because if you try to outdo your buddy one day at the gym and then the next and then the next, you're gonna be completely fried. But if you just do 5 sets of 5 with 20 kg, and then the next week you do 21 kg, 22 kg, 23 kg, you're never gonna feel smoked. But then say if at the beginning of 6 weeks, before you did the 21, 2, 3, 4, 5 kg progression, maybe your 1 rep max was 50 kilos, at the end it's probably gonna be 60 or 65, and you're not gonna kill yourself to do it. The more advanced you get, you do have to start putting more intensity into the training, but because you've built up that base of higher reps and conditioned the tissues, when you put that high intensity, you get the strength response and not the tendonitis response. If you try to do an advanced program where you're doing a ton of intensity from the start, you're gonna fuck yourself up. And you're gonna be confused because probably for 3 or 6 months, it's gonna work great. And you're gonna think you're doing a shortcut. You're gonna think you've circumvented the system until you crash and burn. This is 6. All right, last one. Yay. Oh, if the way I get onto the box is annoying to you, please make fun of me in the comments. Oh, that's hard. Really good though. Sweet. So now we'll finish with some front lever work. I actually spent, before this training cycle, probably the previous 6 months, really honing in the front lever and doing some different skills to get that. Because in the past, I had always tried the progressions you see online for front lever, and they never worked for me, partially because of some specifics that I want to talk about in a later video, but also because working the one arm pull up plus the front lever together is just too much volume for most people to handle, myself included. So when I was trying to build both of them, neither one would happen. So what I did, focus exclusively on the front lever until I got it. And now I just put it at the back end of the training, even though I'm tired. Maybe I have to use a bigger band or something like that for my sets. It's not the priority. The pulling is the priority. How I've been doing my front levers this entire cycle is 2 sets of max effort in a straddle. And then I'll do my working set, 6 seconds with the band. And just the band, every session is different because it's at the back end of the session. I'm tired. I just do what feels good and I can have good technique with. But let's knock out this first set of full body weight. We'll go for 6 seconds if we can get there. But we're a little tired, so let's see. Not quite 6 seconds, but feels good. Position feels nice. And considering it's at the end of my heaviest pulling day so far in the last 6 weeks, and we can still hold it at all, that's a win. All right, so first front lever set was about 4.5 seconds maybe. So we'll try to match that. Try to be at least 4 seconds if we can. Let's go. All right, now we do the band wars. So I'm at a different gym than I usually train at, and they don't have a skinnier band. So rather than a 6-second front lever hold, this band's gonna be too strong for that. I'll hold 12 to 15 seconds. We'll see, I haven't done a set with it yet, but let's find out. It'll be longer than 6 seconds for sure. Cool, feels good. We'll do 3 sets of that with 3 minutes rest in between each. And that'll be it for the heavy pulling session. All right, here we go. Last set. Full position. Ooh. All right, so that's it. Thank you for sticking around watching this whole thing. Hopefully you found it interesting. I just wanted to give those of you interested a real look at a real workout that will actually make you stronger, or that will actually be something that somebody that you watch on the internet, that you see on Instagram, is actually doing in their real training. No bullshit, no gimmicks, nothing like that. So thanks again for watching. If you have any questions about it, get at it down in the comments. Or if you think what I'm doing is ridiculous, let me know there too. Oh, no such thing as bad publicity. And like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Thanks again.